You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 16th meeting for the LaPorte County Solid Waste District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
They got it to work it up anyway.
I want to call to order the July 16th LaPorte County Recycling and Solid Waste District Board meeting. Everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Haney,
Present.
Commissioner Grammarosa, Mayor Dermody,
Present.
Mayor Nelson Deitch, Commissioner Hollifield, Councilman Mullenhour,
Present.
Councilman Prespolinski.
Present.
Okay, we're gonna have a quorum.
Thank you. Everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from the April 9th meeting. Is there any deletions or corrections? Motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Dermody. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Haney. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. In front of us today, we have the claims for May, June, and July. I don't know if everyone's had the opportunity to review them yet.
Make the motion to approve claims as presented. Second.
And as always, we sent the May and June out for previous review, and the chairman came in and signed, and July's claims are in front of you today. So
Oh, okay.
nothing's unusual on the claim docket.
Okay. There's been a motion to approve the claims for May and June. Okay. And July. Okay. Is there a second? Oh, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Claims are approved. I know we have to sign them before we leave. Financial report through June 30th.
It's always this statement here.
Okay, wait a second. Let's take it out. We can get it out.
The number I always point out to the board is, though it's in yellow on top, that's our operating balance. And currently we have $2,920,023.23. So we have sufficient funds to operate for the next 6 months or till we get our next distribution.
Great. Okay, isn't it every 6 months we get a new cash intake? I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah, when the tax distributions come out, they say about 7 months. They're due every 6 months, and then it takes them a month to reconcile, and then we get our
Okay.
distributions.
Just wanted to refresh my memory on that. Any other information you want to talk about on this report?
Unless Lynn has anything she wants to add, but it's pretty much standard from month to month.
Okay.
Not this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions from the board members of the financial report?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the financial report through June 30th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Comments from the public?
Everybody's eyes
I'm good. Okay, all right. No comments from the public. Director's report. We want to start with the budget calendar, right, for 2026?
Right. Starts with today's date. It'll look like this. It'll say budget calendar on it. Today's date is when we present the calendar to you, and it has outlined when we're going to meet with the DLGF, when we're going to send you folks the packet of our budget, and it gives you an opportunity to review it, either come in and talk about any comments you might have or send us any comments. And then if we get comments, we don't get comments, and we put it together and we bring it to the auditor's office for them to file stamp it for the county council. That'll be on August 25th. And then we always follow their public hearing and adoption hearing schedule that the county has. And those will be on the September 22nd and October 27th. Pretty standard from year to year. That does need to be adopted, though.
Make a motion to approve the 2026 budget calendar.
Okay, is there any questions from board members? None?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget calendar is approved. Borden, discussion?
And the chairman, Prespolinski, knows that we've had some,
Yeah, Clay, if I may ask, is this still gonna be the Borden's discussion? This is, well, because the other company,
yeah, we call them board because we think the board recognizes that name. They probably wouldn't recognize Waste Connection.
okay, is that what this is gonna stay with, is Borden, the Borden name? Or is it the other company that's running
They
it?
go, the other company's running it, but they're still using Borden Waste Away on their business cards and stuff.
Okay,
They'll say,
Probably bought the name too.
okay,
and that's a concern that we have, but it's the Waste Connections is the company that actually owns it now, but they're still going by Borden Waste Away, which I would assume after a couple of years they'll probably fade that out and just go with the Waste Connections.
okay, and for the other board members, I know I'm aware, because we had a meeting with the company and the representatives. I know none of the other board members were there. I think it's fair that we share the information with the board members, what took place, the timeline, because it was a total surprise to me with this meeting with this other company. They bought it. So go ahead, Clay, explain to the other board members what happened.
We've had some concerns with Borden Waste Away, whether they're not getting their bins out in time, not cleaning up our public access sites like they're supposed to by contract, and changing their name and not even letting us know they changed their name, and they changed some of their employees. Came to us by a total surprise. We met with our chairman to get him informed about what's going on. He recommended that we meet with our attorney and see what we can do. And the attorney, and it should be in your board packet, listed like 15 bullet points in our contract that we can use to actually kind of stick it to Borden. We met probably last month, and they still haven't improved very much. They've improved a little bit, and Lisa, she's our recycling coordinator. She deals with them mostly. But we wanted to let the board get updated to see if maybe you guys want to sit down with Borden and have a public meeting with them, or not, or just let the chairman and us deal with it. The reason why we didn't invite you before, because it would be a violation of the open door law if we had more than, if you four came to a meeting and we didn't invite the public, it'd be a violation. So wanted to do all this at a public meeting. They're willing to come and listen to our complaints, but they don't seem to be very receptive. But I'll turn it back to Lisa and let her tell you her concerns.
Well, first of all, like Clay said, I send a quarterly letter with either, hey, attaboy, you're doing a good job, or this is what you need to improve on. Sent the letter and immediately got an email back, well, he doesn't work here anymore, you need to send the letter to Kyle Woolsey. Okay, nobody told us. Then we find out Lisa Hazard is gone, and she's the one that was in charge of all the customer service reps. Nobody told us that. Then I come back from vacation and Clay goes, oh, you're gonna love this. Kyle Woolsey and Eric Ivory are no longer there. And those were our two go-to guys that were getting everything done. And we were working very well with those two. We waited, nobody reached out to us. So then I asked Clay, I said, can I reach out to them and request a meeting? He said, go for it. So Derek Woolsey and Johnny Buchanan come to talk to us. And Clay kept saying, I want to talk to your boss. And finally, they gave us a name, and he came to the next meeting. And I believe that was the one that Don was at. Was that the first time we met, that big Brett guy?
Yeah.
Okay. And they started to tell us how they sold the company. And they never told us that they sold the company. There's absolutely no communication with this company. There was an incident with a school bus and a recycle truck, and they went head to head on a one-way street, and the recycle truck wouldn't back down. The police were called. Then there was an accident on Highway 20 that I'm sure you're aware of. Nobody notified us of, or Highway 2. Nobody notified us of that.
Was the Borden truck at fault in that accident, or was it the semi?
No, it was
The semi's fault. I just think that's pertinent.
But they don't return emails. People have to wait for cart swaps, sometimes a week or longer, when it clearly states in the contract that they need to be picked up within 48 hours from complaint, like when they call me. Like say they were missed Tuesday, but they don't call me until Thursday. I can't count Tuesday. I have to count from Thursday, they're 24 hours. I started finding them just today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 $200 fees that they've accrued just because they won't go pick up these people. They schedule cart swaps, and then I call them to see if they got a cart swap, and they haven't. And it's just ridiculous. And then the people from Long Beach are screaming at us. They're so upset with this company, and it's like, we're trying to do our best. I contact these people the very next day after they were promised a cart swap. For some reason, what do they tell us? They don't have enough trucks, they don't have enough drivers. One of our selling points was they had this amazing call center, and we wouldn't get screamed at anymore, and our calls would, diminish. Well, Robin had to change the answering machine because our customers were being on hold for an hour or more, saying they were in queue 1 or 2, and then not getting a call back. So Robin changed it so now we get all the calls again, and it's just overwhelming because these people are so upset, and they refuse to do courtesy returns, and that's part of our contract that if somebody forgets, go back. Well, they won't do it, or they'll schedule a cart swap in a week, and it's like some of these people are still waiting from last Tuesday to get picked up, and they're going to tell them, well, next Tuesday you get picked up. And it's like, no, they should have got picked up last Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It's just very frustrating.
Yeah, and we've engineered our routes so you have to drive through yesterday's route to get to today's route. So if you forgot somebody yesterday, you're going through that area anyways. Go back and get it. It's not that much difference, but their big concern is they're coming from Elkhart, so their time is like shorter because they can only be on the road for whatever it is, 8 hours. So if you got an hour driving, an hour driving back, you only got 6 hours to service our area. So they're not going back and picking up any misses. They're getting back to their people.
But they knew that when they took on the contract. And are you to the point where we need to look at an alternative?
Yes, and that's what our attorney recommended with these bullet points. He says, take these, document all your concerns, which we're doing. If they're not paying enough for public access, not notifying us. We're giving them some time, they don't want to just do it, complain yesterday and change tomorrow. So, but we're not seeing any big improvement. So that was our question here to you folks. Are you getting any more complaints that we're not seeing that we should be aware of?
So I've received multiple complaints from several folks, but specifically to touch on the Long Beach area. This truck's driving down there. They were supposed to have some sort of smaller truck or something for one of those areas that they said they were going to do to make sure they could pick up. They run the larger trucks down there. They turn around as they're trying to navigate and turn down there, which I never heard any of these problems with the previous company we contracted with. But they're cutting corners, so the trucks are driving over people's lawns and things like that, and that's been going on for a year and a half, at least.
Ever since they've had the contract, it's been going on. That's like you said, year and a half, year and 7 months.
Yeah. So that's, if they can't resolve what should be their simple issue that they knew going into this, I know I'm certainly not pleased with the service they've been providing.
Okay. Then the bigger question is, do you want us to keep monitoring it and give you an update? Or do you want them to invite them to come to a meeting and we can point blank tell them our concerns?
For our attorney, how we've got a number of different issues here. We've got unresolved complaints in some cases going on for a year and 7 months. How does that engage with being able to break a contract with them?
Well, I mean, the contract's structured more on fines than anything else. Okay, so it's not going to be easy to get out of the contract. But my thought is the board summons them forth and make them stand on the carpet and explain why they're not doing it. You might get their attention more than police would. So that would be my suggestion at this stage. The contract is not written so we can just say we're going to terminate. But some of the fines, like Don, you're concerned about the cleanup around the dumpsters.
Yeah.
That can be a $1,500 fine. So we start fining them left and right. I think we'll get their attention. But I think calling the main powers that be here, I mean, Dermody can look awfully intimidating when he wants to, you know.
But you're telling me even for non-performance, we can't?
Well, the problem is we have performance. It's just poor performance. So that's why the contract's designed to have the fines. So it's not going to be easy to get out of the contract. I think we can. I don't think we have enough evidence yet to do it.
The only thing that might help us is that it clearly states in the contract that they're not allowed to sell without notification to us. They need to notify us that they want to sell, and they didn't.
How many years do we have with contract?
It's a 5-year contract.
5 years, that's what I thought. But I thought there was something that yearly, was there something in there about yearly?
No, that's our other contracts, like with the HHW. It's a 1-year contract with a 1-year renewable for 2 years.
Okay, okay.
But this one is actually a 5-year contract with a 5-year renewable if we like it, you know.
When did they sell out, Borden sell out to this new one?
Not really sure, but we were notified probably this past May or June. That's when we started having the meetings with them. Because we couldn't talk to anybody. We didn't know. Like she said, all of our service reps just disappeared. The call center people just disappeared. It's like, who are we talking to? I don't know who to talk to.
To answer your question, Mike, we don't have a specific date, but it seems like it's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say 6 months maybe, and that's just me talking, but when I was here listening to what their representatives had to say, yeah, that's what it sounded like, that it's been a while. And I was just totally amazed that a company would do that, sell to another company and at least not even call your customers up and say, hey, we're getting out of the business, we sold to somebody else. Here's who you should call if you have any issues going forward. And, we got nothing. You guys know we didn't get anything. I didn't know anything. And Clay calls me and he's telling me about it. I go, what?
Have we fined them at all? Have you sent anything to them on fines?
Yeah, our most recent quarterly, it was $1,400 or $1,200.
Something like that, because we have a $500 fee for the report, and then I have a handful of $200 fees.
Have they responded to the?
No.
No, they don't even care.
Have you had conversation with any alternative ones to say, hey, if we made the move, would you be ready to transition?
I have not, because I wasn't sure what my legal obligations was, if I'm allowed to even do that, being under contract.
We could talk to them. Whether we can, break the contract, that's another discussion.
Maybe they want out of it. Maybe that's why they're.
Maybe.
It's a new.
We're a pretty big contract. They seem to be.
They seem like they want it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they used us to make the sale.
No kidding.
We have,
So how much are the fines what's the total of the fines?
Well, it's $200 a pop,
Oh, okay.
And she said she had 6 there, so that makes it $1,200 for this
and
month.
they haven't even acknowledged the last set of fines that we sent them.
And are you paying them short?
No, we have 90 days. If they don't make it right in 90 days, then I can deduct it out of their bill.
And keep in mind, it's a graduated schedule of fines, so there's different things with different fines.
Clay, you'll have to keep me posted on that so I don't just pay them without.
Right, I will.
Well, that'll get their attention when they 90 days and they don't get their money or all of it.
Bad thing is a lot of these places, they have you mail your check to one place and they operate out of another place. So then that place that you mailed your check to puts you on a delinquent thing. They said, well, you owe us $1,400 and now you have to pay a late fee. It's like, we don't owe you we don't owe you that. You owe me that. So that's why I deducted it. So you're dealing with two different entities.
Well, and I can say this from that meeting, and the head guy, what is he, their district manager now or
Yes.
whatever? And so he was there, and they had two, I'm gonna call them like department heads or what have you, guys that go out and make sure all the drivers are doing their work, supervisors, all right? And in talking to those two gentlemen, or listening to them, I got the impression that this whole contract is like, they didn't even know what the whole contract was about. It seemed to me like they didn't even know where LaPorte County was at. I don't know how much time they spent over here. And then the head supervisor or district manager, whatever his title is, he made every promise under the sky that this would be taken care of, within a month. And if you have any problems, you come to me and I will take care of it. Right? Is that the impression we got?
Yeah, and then we scheduled another meeting, all sitting there together with our notes. But I failed to send out an email calendar request because I started going backwards through the weeks and started compiling what Doug asked me to compile. So I dropped the ball and I forgot to email the calendar invitation, but I had it in my notes, Robin had it in her notes, Clay had it in his notes. We all knew that we had another meeting scheduled, and then they didn't show up. And I emailed them and I said, I apologize, but we all took notes at this meeting and you should have had it written down on your calendar somewhere. And they apologized backwards and forwards, and he keeps bugging me now. When can I come? When can we have another meeting? Or when can I come to your district meeting? And I said, the agenda's full. I said, you'll just have to wait. And he called me today and he wanted to know when we could meet. And I said, there's been a few deaths throughout the employees' families. I said, Clay's going on vacation at the end of the month. I said, it's not going to be this month, Johnny. I said, I'll get back with you next month. Because we wanted to have this meeting and we wanted to, inform you guys what's going on. So they want to meet with us, but we just need to be prepared.
But it sounds like they're not improving on what he said, so.
No, they're not.
Are we contacting him to say, look, things aren't better?
And if I can contact, those guys talk. So if I contact Republic Services, I think Waste Connection or Board and Wasteway, they're going to hear about it. So I think that's a good thing. Like, hey, we're not messing around. We're going to go down the road if you don't straighten up. So I get the impression that we can still work on it from our end. I'll keep the chairman informed on where we're going. And if it gets to the point where we'd like to move on, we'll look for a way to disengage the contract.
Yeah, Clay, and I mean, I'm the chairman, and I appreciate you sending me the information, but keep all the board members involved too. I mean, we're all into this together, so I want everybody to know exactly what's going on, so we don't come to a meeting and you gotta digest all this.
But can we say that at the next meeting, either they're here to explain themselves, or there's something in the agenda that says, hey, we're prepared to move in a different direction? I don't think it can be ignored either way.
No, we gotta have a meeting with them, I think.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, if we have a meeting with them, does the board prefer to have it at the next quarterly meeting? Or we set a meeting up before that? Because I don't want to wait I wouldn't think it'd be a good idea to wait a whole nother quarter.
I know.
With all these issues piling up. Yeah, and if he wants to meet, okay, we'll meet. Get the gentleman in here and let's get this stuff corrected. Because if not, we're gonna have to just move down the road and get somebody that's responsible and wants the contract.
So we canceled Clay's vacation. And
I have full confidence in you guys that you can handle it while I'm not here.
Oh, yeah, please vacation.
To upset Lisa, you gotta have an issue. And you can clearly see there's some frustration based on their activity or lack of.
And the fines aren't doing any good, so I need to talk to them. When's your vacation then?
End of the month.
End of the month.
Yeah, last week of July.
For how long?
Middle of first week of August. It's 10 days. Couple weekends in there.
When's our next meeting?
September.
September.
Second Wednesday in September.
That's too long. Yeah. What about second week in August? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah,
So-
get her done.
Yeah.
And that'll give
Day or
them
two
plenty
after
of
you
time
come
to get their,
Okay,
hopefully, some answers for us.
Yeah,
we got that.
Give them time to prepare and.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
and I'm gonna say, just tell him to bring his corrective actions, what he's gonna do, and that's it. Boom, 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 boom. Because we're not gonna come back, in my mind, come back and revisit this in October, in December. You know, if problems aren't resolved. Yeah, he's got a timeline. We can tell him at that meeting, whatever the timeline's gonna be. It's gotta be corrected by this time.
I just have one question. Is this new district manager, I believe you said his name was Brett,
Brett,
is he new?
Yes,
How
he's
long
very
has he
new.
been with?
Brett Bacabella.
He's been with Waste Connection for
company
a long
Just after
time.
this.
just not with.
He came from,
Yeah, with
the way I
LaPorte
understand, he came from Dallas. Their company down, he came from their district in Dallas up to here.
And
To
when
take
did that
over this.
happen? Was that just this year, like in March, or was that?
We don't know, they didn't tell us. He just showed up at our meeting because we
I'm
said
not
we
sure.
weren't your boss.
Okay, I just wonder, is this like an exaggerated learning curve with this guy? Is he just had not had the time or the information to know what's going on? Or, you know, just me as a controller speaking, I just panic a little bit because we're locked into a contract and while we can't support bad service at all, that's just, we can't do that to our residents. That's what we're here for. On the same hand, we can't afford a more expensive contract. It's just, we just don't have it. So that's just my concern, that's all.
When, like Don mentioned, when he got here, he didn't have any idea what our contract, they didn't know how many,
Exactly, that's what made me
they
actually
didn't know how
raise
many
that
people they
question.
serviced, they didn't know about the fine, they didn't know anything, and thought, oh, you're driving over here from Elkhart, why would you not at least read the contract, you know?
Yeah, I just don't
There's
know if
three of
this guy needs an opportunity to get his ducks in a row or, you know,
Yeah, he's been doing it for a long time, just not,
But not with us.
right, not in our county.
I'm talking about us, you know, so I just would hope that would be the best scenario if this guy could just get it together, so.
Well, maybe in all fairness to him, maybe that's why he was calling, to maybe he wants to come over here and sit down and talk, and maybe he's got solutions to what his problems are. So,
That's
I
not
guess
his
we'll be fair
calling.
to
He's
him and let
calling
him
his
hear him
little
out.
Johnny.
Yeah,
but that's no excuse not to answer the telephone and get a return calls.
Or emails.
Even, that's basic customer service,
Yeah.
business, business protocol.
Do we want to set a date now or wait till you talk to him and see what, to meet with him in
We're
August?
gonna target the second week of August, so we'll find a date that works for everybody. We'll get it out to you as soon as possible.
I'm good then, the whole week.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay. Are we done with the board discussion?
I
Any
think
more
so.
questions from the board members about this situation? Okay. All right, moving on. Old business, salary study in 2025.
I might recall earlier this year, you directed us to look at some HR agencies to look at our salaries. We agreed upon one, which was at Barnes and Denning. They did do the salary survey for us. to look like this in your packet. I think it's pretty comprehensive. They did pretty much what we asked them to do. They compared us with 3 different types of salary proposals, like the private sector, the government sector, and federal sectors. I did make a little note for you guys, and it looks like this sheet here, to save you from having to go through this whole thing. But basically what we did, we took the...
Is that in this packet that you gave us today?
Yeah, it's in today's packet, yeah.
The whole thing isn't in there, just the cheat sheet here.
Oh, okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
And what we did, since we mainly kind of recognized with Indiana Gateway, we used that for your comparison here. So what we did, we took right out of the personnel policy that they sent us, or the planning policy they sent us, and we put their max, we put their average, and we put our current salaries on there. And as you can see, if you look at those, there's basically 3 of our employees that are not meeting the average gateway salary for Indiana. The other 5 of us do meet or exceed the average gateway salary. I went through here and I picked out 3 bullet points I thought was important. What they used to come up with these salary studies, one was the years of service, says salary placement within a range often correlates with the employee's tenure and experience level. For example, newer hires may fall closer to the minimum, while seasoned professionals may align or exceed with the higher. Public sector relevance, since we're basically public sector employees. We gave particular attention to salary data within the municipal sector to reflect the unique characteristics and requirements of your organization. And then finally, it tells you in 2025 cost of living adjustment, our data sources include occupational employment and Indiana Gateway data sets covering the period from late 23 through May of 24. We applied a 3.5% upward adjustment for these salaries to ensure the figures reflect current market conditions, according to COLA percentages and the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, the Indiana Family and Social Service Administration, and other state and government agencies. This is a cooperative adjustment. So I know you're concerned about some of the gaps in there. The one and I'm not hoping I'm not seeking out a term, but I think we were looking at maybe the office manager / HR was kind of a little bit far behind. We gave a bigger bump last year for the 25, and we have in our budget calendar or our budget projections to give her a bigger bump this year to get closer. So we're hoping to hit that average Indiana salary for our office manager / HR since she's incurred more duties. So,
and again, I won't speak. I assume you're doing employee reviews, and clearly I see 3 positions, and is there something that I don't see in the HHW program manager that seems to be way down?
He's not truly an HHW professional. I mean, we hired him in as kind of our utility person, and then he took over HHW collections. We do mobile collections, which is a turnkey collection. The company that we vendor with comes to our site. They bring all the employees. Basically, our HHW guy just oversees, makes sure that the event venue is available, and we take care of the traffic direction. He doesn't actually.
You feel you're comfortable with that one?
Yes. Once we start, now someday we hope to get our own HHW facility down at our compost site with people who are bringing us, and we will handle the HHW. At that point, he needs to either get a couple more classes for HHW qualifications to get his hazmat certifications. At that point, yeah, then we can boost him up. But as it is now, he's content because he's just basically a utility person that does the overseeing of the HHW.
Looks like it's pretty much 4 and 4, don't it? A little bit high, average.
Yeah.
So do you think we could take the 4 high and distribute the money there to the 4 lower ones? Just kidding.
I was gonna say that's probably a great idea, probably a year from now.
But when you look at it, the office manager, the controller, are you comfortable with where they're at based on reviews, based on?
We're not comfortable with the office manager and HR / we think that's underpaid. We need to get that up. Now, Lynn, I tell you, she's working on her best years for retirement, so she wants that wage up. So, but I don't think she's overly unhappy with the wage, but she'd like to.
No, just, hate to miss an opportunity for that small bump, I'm talking like not 0% raise, but I would think since I'm under, it wouldn't be out of the realm to be considered for a small percentage, just to try to catch up a little bit. But I am happy in my current position, and situation, so.
And we're not, you made a suggestion, I don't remember, back at our January meeting about instead of doing across the board raises, maybe start looking at reviews and doing staggered raises. So we're considering maybe doing that for the ones like myself. I certainly don't need a raise even though I'm underpaid and overworked. But some of the other ones, maybe we can start staggering that so we can close these gaps, because there's a big gap between myself and the next highest employee. So we need to close those gaps.
But I think it should also be based on review, if they're doing a good job, or not doing a good job where they.
And then we'll use because normally we follow what the county does. So if the county sets, let's say a 5% raise, we'll follow that and then we'll do our review between 0 and 5%.
Are you considering are you suggesting doing something now for those two, or
No.
waiting till?
We'll do it the budget cycle.
26?
Yeah. We are pretty closely, we know for the year what our salaries were, so that's what we budgeted. If you was to give somebody a big raise now, we'd have to figure out where we can grab that money and throw it into our 100 account.
May I ask one other question? Because this board really raised funds for the future to have funding. And when you said we don't have a lot of money, about if we switch to a different vendor,
Right.
I should have clarified that before, but we should be in good shape, correct?
Well, we are, but being based on the user fee, we, try to imagine or assume what our distributions are going to be. And I guess, again, as a controller, I get a little panicked because our June distribution was only a very minuscule $2,000 more than last year. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how I can try to budget for things, especially contracts, when my whole June distribution was only increased by $2,000. That makes not a lot of sense to me.
And to keep in mind, that user fee increase went in January of 21. So we're going on 5 years that you've been working off that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long, does it? It seems like we were fighting for it just last year.
No kidding.
With the contract for the hauler present at 5%, what did we put in the budget for the 5% for next year's hauling fee increase was $145,000?
Yeah, 149.
149, yeah. So, that it's making me a little nervous. I just don't feel like I have a good grasp on what I can count on. I guess I'll know more when December's distribution comes.
Do you believe it should have been more?
I do. And just because Lisa had been working with the auditor's office and we thought we had found a pretty significant increase, and then it's not showing up. So I don't know what the disparity is there.
And it did go up pretty good in last year.
In
right?
December.
Went up like $40,000.
Yeah, so that's why I want to wait and see.
It's 40,000 and plus the 2,000.
But I thought we had a figure of like in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was anticipating more than 2. So, but again, I don't mean to sound disparaging or anything, maybe it's just my not understanding the distribution properly. It could be that, most people pay in spring and pay spring and fall together, while some wait and pay spring and then pay fall in the fall. So again, that's my response to, I want to wait and see what December brings.
Have you been able to get a response from that office?
Lisa was doing the study with them, and I'll let Clay answer that.
Then like anything else, it changed hands. The former auditor went out of office and a new auditor came in, so we're kind of back starting over again. It is what it is. I mean, it's cheaper to do it on the tax bill for us than it is for us to send out individual billing and try to collect and, get the people that aren't paying and go out and chase them down. So it's easier to do it on a tax bill. So we really can't complain too much to them. They're doing us a huge favor.
Yes.
So. But as you can see, like in the financial report, we're at 2.9. This is July. We're going to get another distribution in late December, early January. So we spend a little under $300,000 a month.
Okay. All right, any more discussion?
If you have any questions on that, the packet that they sent, you can certainly reach out. And even the company that did it, they said you can reach out to them if you'd like, if it's not clear enough in the packet.
Yeah, my comments are, I thought they did a pretty good job. Excuse me. And did what we were asking them.
Right.
To give us information and break it down. So, yeah. And hopefully it'll help us moving forward for raises, and that way everybody knows apples for apples what we're dealing with here and around the state and what other people are getting paid. So, okay.
So, I'm sorry, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for budgeting purposes then, because we are in the throes of that now, is there a suggestion on how we move forward as far as the salaries? Do we have something definite that I can work with?
Not for me. No, I mean, I didn't give it that much thought. I saw the numbers and the report, but I didn't sit there and say, well, maybe we should give this one that and give this one that.
I think Clay's going to need to make a recommendation to the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that will usually follow what the county gives their employees. So if they give 2, 3, 5, 0, then we usually follow 2, 3, 5, or 0.
Well, and if you want to, you can also.
Yeah, if you want to beef it up.
Right, for the one that we're down, we'll do that ourselves.
I mean, I would make sure that if the county is doing a standard, but we're trying to go to evaluation raises to do, I don't know if the rest of the board, I'd support that, especially when you have this data, and if they're doing a good job to give more or less than the county, but.
Yeah, I think probably, from my perspective, we would look at, whatever the across the board raises would be, and then taking into account those as well, targeted for a couple of these positions that are lower to bring them up at the same time. So there's, some cost of living raises for everybody, but at the same time, those couple that are low get a additional, their category itself gets raised up.
And again, I would also, not to tell you how to do it, but the budget 3 years from now will look dramatically lower than what it does. Like I think in 2028 maybe or 7, and base your new budget on some of those falling numbers, because if you increase a bunch, all of a sudden you're gonna have to reduce it the following year or a lot of it, because I thought they really
that's what you have to remember.
the legs off.
So I don't know that this is a special taxing district, so a lot of those things aren't gonna, since it's
Restricted
user fee funded, those at least won't hit here like they're gonna hit obviously the county and cities and other municipalities. So that's the one benefit for this group, is that it's user fees.
Yeah, and if it does happen to collide, at the time you guys are looking at reducing your budgets and we're looking at maybe raising our user fee in a couple of years, it's like, whoa, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I do like what you're saying, Mayor, the fact of employee appraisals and, how everyone does, how everyone did for the year. I don't think not necessarily that I want to see employee appraisals. I don't know if that's legal or not for board members to see employee appraisals, what the boss does, but.
You can a special session.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay. But I always thought they were good. I was always appraised every year where I worked at, so, it is what it is. Whether you liked it or not, this is what you got, and next in line, sit down, yeah, so. Anyway, no, I like that idea, is doing the appraisals. Do you do that every year, Clay?
No,
Do
we
you do appraisals?
No, we usually do across the board raises. If the county gives 5, we get 5. There's been a few times where the county might have given 3 and we gave 5, but everything's been equal across the board. Excuse me.
But you do employee evaluations.
Not anymore, we used to. And, it's the same people every year and their jobs don't really change that much. You don't gain any more authority or anything, so. But we can start it again. It's in the personnel handbook that we can do job evaluations.
Okay. How does the board feel about that?
Gotta go. We're usually done by now.
Yeah, moving forward.
Oh, I would say
Having a
that's-
director,
Evaluations.
yeah, start having evaluations again.
It's not gonna hurt anything.
Yeah. Okay, do we want to discuss that, or do we want to make a motion, and do we have to vote on that, Doug?
Vote on what?
To have the director start doing evaluations again?
You can just direct him.
Pardon?
You can just direct him to do it. You don't need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I hear from the board is that we're directing you to have evaluations again with the employees.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Or
got,
some ladies, you would appreciate that. You want to know where you stand?
Good.
apologies, I got court. We usually don't go this long, so I think you can handle the payload without me anyway.
Tie on.
I gotta get up.
All right, Doug, thanks.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, okay. All right, moving on, we move on to the next item here. Let me get back to the agenda. There it is. Okay, we just completed the salary study. Now we're on to the payloader.
There's a information sheet in the board packet there. Earlier this year, I asked you for permission to look at getting a new payloader for our compost site. I solicited 4 companies. They're listed on your sheet. Bronson Equipment out of Westville, McAllister out of South Bend, JCB out of North America, and Sourcewell out of Minnesota. We got 2 responses back, one from Ronson for a 2025 Devilon DL287 at $210,405, and McAllister 2025 Caterpillar 926-14A at $221,900. Ronson has offered us $20,000 for our trade-in, and McAllister is offering us $25,000. So as you can see, the end results would be $190,405 or $196,900. There's a little, about $6,500 difference between the Cat and the Ronson. The guys down at my site would prefer a Cat. That's what we currently have. We do have a Ronson also, but the one we're trading in is a Caterpillar, and they like that. They think it has better pushing power than what the Ronson has. So,
And the Ronson dealers, Westville?
Westville, yeah.
Okay. And McAllister dealers, is that the one in South Bend or?
Yeah, they listed in South Bend. I think they're moving their corporation thing up to Michigan, right across the line there.
Are the warranties and stuff like that?
They're
the same?
very similar, yeah. The Cat has a little bit bigger engine on it than what the Bronson has. But other than that, it's, a year and then 5 years on the engine, that type of stuff.
It's pretty much apples to apples. Then.
Yeah.
Wonder if you could talk to them and see if they could, if we decided to go with Ronson, being that it's a local dealer. I know we always try to do that, usually.
Yeah.
Give the same amount of trade-in, get that $5,000 more for a trade-in on our present one. The other, that's pretty close, 20 and 25. So the other company might give you the same amount. Trade-in, get another. Then the difference would be about 11,000.
Yeah. It'd be worth asking.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Okay, that would be the recommendation.
Yes.
To ask for,
Let's try to negotiate that.
negotiate a better price.
And they're both compatible with our current Bronson with universal coupler we asked for. So you can switch buckets from either one to use any of our 3-yard or 5-yard or grappling hooks that go on either piece of equipment.
The warranties are all the same on both of them?
Yep, they're the same.
So what would the warranty be on a payloader? I don't know.
It's pretty much 1 year for the outside parts of the Caterpillar, and it's 5 years on the engine and drivetrain. And then they offer you the same, they've got 5,000 hours services every so often. They'll give you a discount on the service hours when they come out and service it.
Okay, report back at the next meeting with, can we wait? We can wait that long, can't we, for the next quarterly meeting?
Yeah, because I got to make sure I can pay for it.
Make sure what?
I can pay for it.
That's a good idea.
So when it gets towards this time of year,
Help with negotiations.
we'll look at the budget and we'll say, okay, I can transfer. I have 50,000 sitting in my capital account for equipment. And we're gonna look, Lynn and I are gonna look and see if there's any big chunks left in the other line items, because it's July, maybe we can squeeze that out and make a bigger down payment, and we won't have to borrow as much. We did that same process with our trommel down there. We ended up borrowing 60,000 to pay for the trommel. Within a 2-year timeline, we paid it off in 6 months. The following year, we were able to pay that loan off. So, missed those days we had landfill funds where we just went out and paid cash for the equipment.
It'd also be good to have that financing layout at the next meeting, whatever you decide how you're gonna pay for it.
I had that on the agenda too, and I can tell you how we're gonna pay for it at the next meeting in September, but I do need this resolution passed that allows me to go out and solicit proposals for a loan.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
That'll be under new business. We can discuss that in a few minutes then if you want.
Yeah, well, the payloader is next on the agenda. So are we done with the payloader? You have direction on what to do with the payloader?
Yes.
Bring the information back to us and we'll make a decision. Okay, the baler.
Turn that over to Sasha because I wasn't even aware that she wanted that back on the agenda till last week.
Determined to get this baler, you guys. Alright, so I made you guys these info sheets about the baler that would be donated for free. And then
Thank you.
it's kind of like a overview of what it all began into play. And then for the sake of not printing 1,000 pieces of paper, right, I have a picture of the baler, but it's over at Helmet, that they're wanting to donate to us for free. They said even if it doesn't work out, we could always scrap it. If that's, so it's not like we have to commit to them that we're gonna actually bail for the next rest of our life. And then I went down to the compost site and I have this cardboard that I cut into the size of the baler so that I could see in person how it would fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like a game of Tetris down there. So I talked to Abe. Abe still doesn't think it'll fit. But these cabinets on the wall, these can shift over to the opposite wall that's by the garage door. All we need to do is put some shelving up because there's a lot of buckets on the ground so we can move that stuff, just rearrange things. And then the baler would fit. The only thing would be where we would storage the bales. So I think we could storage the bales in the old trailer we used for electronics before, that caught fire before. Because then, you know, we have them where they're secure from the weather and, you know, because we just have to keep them so they're not getting rained on. Trex then will pick them up as soon as we have even a half semi-load. And then since the baler's free, we would be getting paid directly for the bales that we produce. I emailed out to Al's because they've asked me before if we could take their plastic bags, because that would actually save them money because they're paying to get them recycled right now. And then to the Michigan City Port Authority, but I haven't heard back from them. AIM Water Softener, though, is wanting to do theirs. They cannot find anybody who will recycle their bags, and we would be able to do water softener bags. I can't remember. What did I say? How much did they say they would have? I have an email. Somewhere I have where it's that like at least a huge truckload a week AIM would have just on their own. So those would add up to where we could make some money off of this at least, you know, and then maybe we could apply it to whatever. Yes.
Yeah, so how much do you get paid for a bale of,
So it's 14 cents a pound.
pardon?
14 cents a pound. And so this baler makes a little bit smaller of a bale, but like if you did a 1,000-pound bale, that's 140 pounds. I think half semi is 20, 25 bales. So you'd get a decent return on it. And it only takes like, you know, maybe an hour or two, if that, depending on how much you get in to actually bale the stuff. You basically just pile it in until it's ready to have enough to form a bale. Mm-hmm. You pull a lever. You know, so it's not like you need a whole extra person just to do it. You just need like one person that has like a couple hours to like pull the lever and then, you know, use something to move that pallet to where it is getting good storage at. And then that trailer that I'm talking about too, currently it's used for the electronic recycling boxes and pallets and stuff like that, Clay told me. There's room in the back of the current electronic trailer. Scott's going to be setting up some kind of like battery situation in there where he can sort batteries. So Gaylords are usually like flattened before we use them. So we could always kind of like figure out a way to compile them probably in there still. Like I really do feel there's space and I really feel there's a need for this. And since we can get it for free, you know, that alleviates a lot of the costs. We would just have to get it like, you know, the electric wired in, but there's a welder actually and other electrical stuff that's right next to it. So I don't think it would be too hard to tie in the electric to it. It'd be on the same wall.
When we last spoke about this, Clay, didn't you have opposition or there was a concern?
I do. I don't think it's a good fit for us. I mean, we went down there, we asked the board to come down, and I think Don and Mike came down and the CAC came down. We showed them what it looked like with all our equipment in there. There's not enough room. There's just absolutely not enough room. You might be able to set a baler there if you moved everything around, but you can't operate our forklift. We don't have a forklift for one thing. You have to use our payloader with forks on it, which is huge, to pick the bales up and move them. So there's just not enough room.
We can use the pallet jack that's down there though. That would work.
So it's
the bales come out through the front. So as long as you keep the front clear, you can put a pallet below it and you would just have to use we have a pallet jack down there. You know, as long as you got like, what is that? 5-6 feet to maneuver that thing just to get it out to where the door is.
See, we just won't have that though because our trommel sets in there, the grinder sets in there, the payloader set. You can't maneuver around that stuff.
I
it's
think
just
it's kind
there.
of like Tetris. Like if you
She
move
just
stuff
got more in
around.
the winter too when you got everything stored in there.
Right. And like I said, have to keep it dry. So we got to have 2 storage areas, one for the bales and then one for the plastic that hasn't been baled. And most important, we're a residential program. I don't know why we want to start doing things for businesses. Businesses should support themselves. If anything, Al should ask us, can we have your bags? Can we help you out? You know, because you're doing stuff for the public. We shouldn't be doing stuff for Al's, the Port Authority. That's not our goal.
So what happens to the bags now?
So right now, Scott takes a load probably every other day to Kroger.
He takes a load once a week. Today's load was 6 bags. And you worked out a deal with the Pack Center. We try to get them a couple bags a week to take to the Pack Center. So we don't even get enough for them. So we take 1 truckload, basically 6 to 10 bags a week to Kroger's for free, drop it off. Very minimal cost for our program.
And how much do you think you generate a year? on average
I have no idea.
Plastic bags?
of this program, doing it this way?
Ooh, I'll have to look, but I had it on the end of your report that you guys got, where you had all the totals on there.
I don't remember what that was.
I don't,
When it was that last month or last meeting, you gave that to us? I don't remember.
I think it was the last.
I don't have it.
I can find it and print it up for you, but I put it on the report with the totals every year. How we figure it out, so I figure out the poundage on it then, so that it's how much we.
Yeah, if you could generate that report again, that'd be
Yeah,
good.
just gotta print it. So yeah,
Okay.
but I personally think it would be a great idea. It's currently a grassroots movement, so I don't know how long they're gonna actually be doing the program as far as like putting new ones in. You know, like if they have a certain number they're gonna hit, and then they're not gonna like sign up more places, more locations. So,
I have a question.
yep,
So with Trex is who we're talking about, right?
yes, yep.
Wasn't their initial offer that they supplied the baler and we gave them the bales and that somehow
It off-
paid off the
Yeah, so they
baler?
would like kind of finance it, self-finance it basically to where our bales would count towards paying it off. But if we have a baler already outright with no cost, we start getting paid from the first shipment
Okay,
of
so
bales.
that was gonna be my question. They're still willing to pick up
Yep.
the bales if we're not
Yeah.
in the baler program with
Yeah,
them?
yeah, I double checked with her. She said that that would just mean that the payments would come from the first load.
So our initial costs for this program would be, we're gonna have to run some electrical for the building.
Yep. The
And we
baling
need
wire,
another
which I
trailer.
have on here, is it's like $100 for 250 ties. I think I came up with that was like the equivalent of 80 bales, I think is what it would be. You can make from that. Because
And if-
it has the tie bales like on it.
And if we needed another storage building,
That would be around 1,500 for an
So-
additional shipping container like we have already down there.
And you can't store enough in that shipping container to fill a semi, so I don't know what you're gonna do with the
No,
extra.
we can do a half load of a semi too though. They don't need we don't have to have a full load for them to come out. They have to have at least a half.
I don't envision you be able to get any more than one row of bales in a shipping container. Can't double stack, because you got no way to push it to the back. You know, your forklift, which we don't have, payloader's not gonna drive inside that.
Well, you couldn't double stack them in a thing anyway, could you, with a forklift?
I wouldn't think
Because it
so.
goes so high and,
That's why I said you single row, it's, you know, it's,
but my question was, there gonna be, you lost me when you said about storing the bales. Where was that gonna be?
We have a shipping trailer down there, an old one that we used for the electronics before, but it caught fire.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
it's still down there being used for just storage. Right now it's the storage of the electronic Gaylord boxes and pallets.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
And where is that container located at? On the south side of the parking? No, yeah.
It's over
south
by
side
that
of the parking
semi.
lot?
Yeah, well, no, it would be the west side of the parking, like if
Okay,
you went,
west side,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
south
right
side.
where the electronic and styrofoam trailer are,
Yeah.
it's on the opposite side, but that's movable too.
Okay, so then if you get a bale, you put a bale together, and if you don't have a forklift, then you're gonna use
The pallet jack
the
thing,
pallet jack.
I don't know if that works.
And
as
you're
gravel.
gonna push that all the way across the parking lot.
Well, you can
and then
move that
put it-
trailer
Let
too.
me
though.
finish.
Okay.
So then in the wintertime, right, if you got snow or something like that, you're gonna push that jack, that, forklift jack across the parking lot with snow and, so I mean, how many bales you see what I'm getting at? How many bales are you gonna be dealing with inside that building if you got bad weather, inclement weather outside?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but we could take the pallet jack just to get it out of the building, just to get it to the doorway if it's tight in there is what I was thinking. And then we have forks on on the skid steer thing and the deucin.
And then they pick it up from there and take it over to the trailer?
Yeah,
Then how do you get it inside the trailer from there? Because you can't get a payloader inside the trailer, right?
no,
Yeah,
no, they
so-
don't have the clearance for a payloader to go into them, no.
Yeah, so how would you push that bale
Use a
inside the
pallet
trailer?
jack, like the,
Oh, bring it back out? and
well, you can
push
have
it in
two
there?
pallet jacks, you don't have to have one pallet jack, you can use another one.
No, what I'm saying, I'm looking at inclement weather. I'm looking
Yeah.
at winter time.
Yeah.
A snowstorm.
Yeah,
So if you make a bale on the inside,
yeah,
yeah, you're gonna take it from there because you can't take the jack and push it across the
No,
parking
yeah, you
lot.
couldn't park, yeah, because there's gravel in that section too. Like, you wouldn't be able to move a pallet jack across that very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna take the bale and set it outside the door
And then
until
move
you
it.
can move it
Yeah,
to the trailer?
yeah. Well, why couldn't you move it with the tractors? They drive over snow. Like
So if you move it with the tractor,
yeah.
then when it gets to the trailer, can you still push it inside?
Most likely, I would think. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know the operation. I'm just looking at it.
I'm not sure if it's wide enough. Pallet jack, once you're in the trailer, you gotta be able to turn it so you can push it in. Or you won't be able to get your pallet jack out and stuff behind the bale, so.
Well, I would just say, from my perspective, while I think this is an intriguing idea and has some real potential, I don't feel comfortable voting over the director who clearly has issues. And I think the two of you have to work out if this is an opportunity from my perspective.
I just think there's too many unknowns. We have a 30-year-old air compressor that does well for us using for our pneumatic tools and airing our tires up. Don't know if it's gonna be able to operate a baler several days a week.
But again, I think the two of you have to work it out together and bring it back to us if,
Well, I pretty much had a discussion with Sasha and told her I'm not for it at this point. I said, look for some grant funding. I said, you start now, we can get it in the budget. If you need matching funds, we'll get it in our budget to get you a building. You know, we'll get another building built, you know, a lean-to or anything in our center section of our building, or our lot down there. And we'll go from there. You know, we can also use that then for HHW, but we need some help with funding. You know, there's some big grants out there, you know, like Item's got some $100,000 grants, you know, we have to do some cash matches, but
You have to do a 50% cash match.
we can finagle that, you know. And you won't get it, you know, if you win the grant this year, you don't get it till next year, so we got time to, you know, accumulate the money.
Yeah, it sounds like there's still some, you know, a lot of details and logistics to work out there, and be something great to have both of you on the same page with it to be able to before we move forward with anything.
Yeah, but I agree, it's a great idea, and I think the potential's there. But if you could put a sheet together with, you know, what your projected poundage, tonnage would be, how much it would generate for the district, and where we can get funding from to do these extra things, like, you know, if we gotta get another compressor or whatever the situation is. Yeah, I mean, get all the facts put together and then present it to the board and then go from there.
Well, I guess I need to know too, are you happy with us becoming a business and taking like Al's and the Port Authority's plastic products? Are you happy with us doing that? I mean, they're certainly gonna get an advantage from not having to pay for recycling or disposal. We're gonna get a minimal impact on just getting whatever it is for the bale.
I viewed it as we're keeping that much items out of the landfill. Right now, boat wraps going straight to the landfill. Nobody's recycling it around us. So it would be however many boats that are around here. Like, I'm pretty sure I could get all the marinas to donate, you know, not donate, but drop off their boat wrap. That adds up to a lot. The only thing with the boat wrap is it has to be baled separately from the regular plastic films.
And I don't
but
even know
you
where you
could
would.
charge them as well, right?
You could, yeah. Yeah.
They're paying somebody now, I would guess, or,
They have to, yeah. They're either paying for disposal to a landfill, or they're paying to a contractor to take it.
but I think you got someone to get on board here, which is the two of you coming to an agreement.
Yeah, and then
And I don't know how Met's gonna have their baler offered to us before they really have to get rid of it to somewhere.
And then space
Because
is
it's an extra one.
I don't know, is it her job to maybe look for a grant or,
Yeah, that's her part of her job description.
okay. Maybe you could do a little searching on that, see if there is something out there that, I know sometimes grants take a while, but
I
we should
can
look
look.
into it.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Yeah, in my mind, Sasha, the idea is not yet. I just want to get some facts and figures and move forward from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, moving forward. Baylor, we're done with that. New business, there's a resolution for a loan.
Right, in case we can't come up with the 190,000 for payloader outright, we'll need to do some financing. Any institution that we deal with would like to know that the board knows that we're going out to apply for a loan. So we have to have just a standard thing, and this basically says that we're allowing the director to pursue avenues for a loan not to exceed a 2-year timeline.
Okay.
But you would bring the loan to us before signing off.
Yes.
You need that now or not until you negotiate?
It's better to have it on file now, so when I'm requesting information from the banks, if they ask for this, I'll have it in hand. Like I said, we did do one exactly like this for the trauma, and like I said, we were able to pay that off within 6 months of the next year.
So you can start shopping around on motion to approve resolution 2025-01, resolution to obtain a loan.
Okay, there's been a motion, but there was a question on the floor.
I hate, again, it's been a long meeting, but there's nothing in here that doesn't say the board approves the loan. So everybody's aware of that, Mr. President. Because it says the director is authorized to sign the necessary legal instruments to procure such a loan. I don't know if that means you can get the loan without our approval.
I would think until he gets permission to buy, he still doesn't have permission to buy the equipment. So he wouldn't, I don't think he'd be able to get a loan to buy without permission to buy.
And it'll obviously reflect in the minutes that, you know, this is for the purchase of a payloader if it meets the board's recommendation. I mean, I'd be kind of like cutting my own throat if I went out and did this and didn't get your permission. Then I come to the next meeting, you guys
Those things have happened, not related to you, but have happened before. But that's,
like I said, this is really just like the trauma, except I changed the word, you know, trauma to payloader up on top here, wheel loader. And like I said, I can, you know, request permission from these banks to see what rates they'll charge and what terms they'll give us, and then come back to you in September, just close the process up is all.
I'm sorry, I mean, I'm just sensitive to all what we're going through with future budgets and items that we're all facing. I know we're all having probably the same discussions independently, and so I'm just very conscious of.
Yeah, and I agree with board member Turner, or not Turner, but Dermody. Yeah, that.
About the city people.
There's been a motion made so there's a motion on the table. I guess.
I can withdraw.
It hasn't been seconded yet.
Or amend it to include approval of the board.
Yeah, we can make an amendment. We can amend it.
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to state that.
And I'm okay with change number 3, just to say, you know, have the chairman of the solid waste district sign the documents.
Yeah, I would trust Don here to do that.
You know, I have no problem with it.
Not that we don't trust you as well.
No, I totally get it, because if you guys don't pay for this, then I'm probably on the hook to pay for it, you know?
Well, this one.
Stated by the mayor.
Maybe Michigan City would be on the hook for it.
Oh, no, never. Not Michigan City. So, okay, so there's been a motion, a motion to amend by Mr. Haney to let the director sign the loan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's a motion. Is there a second?
Wait, it's amended.
Yeah,
That's the amended
Include
one.
the
I haven't seen any amendment to it yet.
I'll second that. Yeah.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
Just so it's clear in my head, we're gonna sign the resolution today, or we'll bring it back in September to be signed? What's,
Might as well do it today.
You're approved.
which I always get board approval, but yeah, okay. You guys lost me there in the conversation. Thank you. Did you vote on that yet?
Only one. There's no,
Mayor.
I seconded it.
Second.
oh,
Yeah, I seconded it. Did vote.
I don't know if we have to handwrite in
yeah, it has to be amended.
the amendment in there that you and we all initial it.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna write the amendment on here? Is that what we're gonna do? Okay. Because I was gonna say, we shouldn't be signing something if the amendment is not included in the resolution. Yeah. But what I prefer doing, I don't wanna handwrite something. I mean, take it back to Beige or whatever we gotta do and have him do it properly. Redo the resolution and have it the way we described it, what we want to do, that I have to approve the loan.
And you could come in and sign it.
I can just do that on my own, yeah.
As a suggestion, maybe when you come in August,
Pardon?
when you come in August for the special meeting would be a good time to, then we're not waiting till September for that.
We can actually just add that back to the agenda. You don't have to worry about signing it at all then today. We'll just put it on the agenda and do it in August.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we don't want to sign it today, right?
I wouldn't think so, no, since it doesn't have everything on it that you want.
Right. Okay.
Just so you know, you gave me permission to buy like
So the amendment's been approved, and we'll wait for it to be printed up or taken care of by BG, and I'll come in and sign it, or whoever else has got to sign it. We can get all the board members to come back and
Everybody
sign
has to
this
sign
thing. Yeah, whenever they stop in and they sign it. Okay? So everybody agree with that? Okay. Resolution for loan, Doug, CD investment.
What we're looking at doing, since some of the CD rates and different governmental rates are getting a little bit higher now, we're thinking about maybe doing some short-term investing of our money. Probably no longer than 4 months at a time as we get our distributions. Maybe we'll invest a bunch of it to get better interest than what we're getting. The research that Lynn has done so far, that most of the financial organizations, institutions, or whatever, need board approval for us to actually go and do that. So that's what we're asking to be included in the minutes, that you're giving Lynn and myself permission to solicit, proposals from the different financial organizations of what interest rate we can get on our short-term CDs. Lynn also included in your packet this IM trust. This is something that Councilman Keel has been pushing for several years. He's brought it over to us a couple different times. We just never felt comfortable about investing money for any long term because we never had enough to do it. But short term, we think we might have enough to make a few $1,000s every time we reinvest. So we need the board's permission to do that. And I don't know if Lynn wants to say more about this, or
Other than Chris Havens provided me with all the information on it. They have recently, it's something that you've done for how long, Chris?
This is year 2.
Year 2, and it sounds he had a lot of good things to say about it. So, we want to look at the bank CDs, but we also want to look at this Trust Indiana because they seem to deal, I kind of lean toward them because they seem to deal with municipalities, and they even list special districts and everything, and they list all the IC codes that we have to adhere to. So I'm comfortable feeling like they're not going to let me do something I'm not supposed to, as far as terms and limits and things like that. So I just wanted you to have the information, and I just feel like we need to try to do something other than, a user fee increase again. You know, this is a way for us to maybe try to, it's not gonna make us a lot of money, but over time, it should.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
I think Trust Indiana, though, I know it was real good for a while. I think it, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's quite as high as it, well, none of them are as high as they were here a year ago. But, and it's probably come up, but I think I know some checking I did in the past year that the banks were paying just as good as this, or credit unions also. So you probably want to check into not only that, but local.
Yeah, Clay and I opened a dialogue with our current bank, Horizon, and it seemed very promising. They seemed, of course, very eager to help us and
Right.
didn't, of course, want us to
Again,
move our
local.
funds or anything.
Yes.
So, you know, that would be very convenient, and they offer a competitive rate, you know, and just want to make sure that, because it's a public funds, that, you know, we're staying within our parameters. And so that's just another avenue for us to consider. So.
I agree.
Okay, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, and I appreciate you coming to the forefront with saying, hey, let's take a look at this, and maybe invest and make some more money. So, thank you.
We get
Do we need to do
can
that?
we get a motion and a second that you're allowing us to?
I'll make a motion for Lynn to, or whoever, to look into, I guess it'll be Lynn, look into that investment through CDs.
There's been a motion and a second to have Lynn look into the CD investment possibilities. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. And next on the agenda is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
You guys are adjourned.